Joining us now from Kyiv is a member of Ukraine's parliament, Oleksiy Goncharenko. Thank you very much for joining us once again, a friend of the programme here on GB News, of course. I guess that the hope is that this successful voyage will actually open up plenty more with, I think you've got about 6 other deliveries that may be able to join it fairly soon.
Hello, yes, it's a big news for Ukraine, for the world, because it's about food crisis, it's about price for fish and chips in British pubs and price for beer because it is made from Ukrainian barley and fish and chips are fried on Ukrainian sunflower oil. So, and also it's good news for North African countries, millions of people in which are starving already without Ukrainian grain. So that is important. More 15 ships are now blocked in Odessa ports, and today some of them will leave and after the first arrived secure to Istanbul and showed that the corridor is working. So part of them, some of them will leave today from Odessa. But what will be the most important is when new ships will arrive to Odessa, because this ship and these 15 which I mentioned, these ships were stuck, were blocked in Odessa ports from February, and now they're just leaving from February, from the start of Russian invasion. But we are waiting for new ships to arrive to Odessa to take Ukrainian grain, and that will be, I can't say the end of world food crisis, but definitely a very good progress in this.
As you say, global food crisis. But just give us a sense of the scale of the problem, because we're talking about 26,000 tonnes on board the ship that we can see there, the Ranzoni, just docked outside Istanbul. Those are the live pictures. But there will be many tonnes of grain that will simply go to waste because it will not be able to be kept in the conditions it needs to be kept in for long periods of time. And we're 6 months into this war. So much wastage, so much won't be able to reach those people that so desperately need it. How dire is the situation?
What is very important is that these shipments will give Ukrainian farmers finances to make a new seeding season in the autumn. Because without this, next year would be a disaster. Because Ukraine, which is like 12% of world wheat export, that just imagine, for example, for Lebanon, Ukraine gives 80% of their wheat. For Egypt, Ukraine and Russia together gives 85% of their grain. For Libya, Ukraine alone gives more than 50%. So it means that without Ukrainian grain, a number of countries in the world would be on the edge of hunger strikes, of social unrest, Mediterranean, in order to run away from hunger. That was exactly the playbook of Putin. That was exactly what Putin was trying to achieve. And Putin has not stopped yet. He will do everything he can, like he attacked Odessa port just hours after signing of the deal. He will do everything he can to slow down the process, to make the shipments as teaspoon style as possible. So the whole world should be very cautious. Russia understands only one language of force.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how much do you trust the Russians to continue this safe passage? And indeed, would you like to, or is it possible, maybe to have NATO maritime forces in the Black Sea to actually have some protection for these voyages?
That would be the best option. The best option for the whole world is to make Black Sea demilitarized zone and Odessa port, to make it, because significance of Odessa port is 1/8 of the world corn export, 1/6 of the world wheat export, just imagine. So I think that the world has all the right to say these areas cannot be attacked and NATO warships can secure it. That would be the best option. Unfortunately, NATO countries are not ready to do this, as we see. So for the moment, the best what we have is this corridor. But again, you should be absolutely aware of the fact that Putin will do everything he can to disrupt this corridor. So we know one lesson, that never ever believe Russians, and all his goals are still on the place. He wants this chaos in the world. So we should be very cautious.
NATO not willing to do that because the West has been at pains, as you know, as we've discussed in this very studio, at pains not to be directly involved in the conflict. And then yet yesterday, Russia accusing America of being now directly involved in the invasion. And this comes just a day after this really stark warning from Antonio Guterres from the United Nations that we are just one small miscalculation away from nuclear annihilation. I mean, the situation is still incredibly grave.
Situation is very hard, but what should be absolutely clear? Russia understands only force. All compromises they understand as weakness. So when they're saying we are not directly involved, we are directly involved, let's forget about it. Let's do it in the way where Russia should be made to respect international law. That is the only way. Why this corridor became possible? Because Ukrainian army had military successes. Because we destroyed big portion of Russian Black Sea Fleet, because we liberated Snake Island, because the United Kingdom, God save the Queen, thanks to Boris Johnson and UK people, gave to
We just seem to have lost the end of Oleksiy.
Yeah, we've lost the signal, I think, for the moment to Kyiv, but there we are. Yes, we're back with you. But
I'm saying that without UK harpoons, which we received, and without military successes of Ukrainian army, this deal will never be real. So the only language Russia understands is force. So let's show the force and the strength of the free world to them. And warships in the Black Sea is the best option. And the world should not be afraid of them. Because if only Putin will feel the fear, he will blackmail and threaten with like 100 times more.